Hello and welcome to the second episode of Taste of Magic. This episode, once again, we're going to be talking about Planechase. This time we're going to be talking about the planes of New Phyrexia and Zendikar. I'm going to start by talking about New Phyrexia, which was covered in the block of Scars of Mirrodin, where the Mirrans were trying to fight off the New Phyrexians. And eventually the plane was lost to the New Phyrexians and it became known as New Phyrexia. Before Mirrodin was New Phyrexia, and actually before it was even Mirrodin, it was a plane called Argentum, which was created by Karn, the Planeswalker. Karn is a silver golem that was created by Urza, and his heartstone is originally Phyrexian in nature. So his Phyrexian oil, the glistening oil, which has the essence of Phyrexia, at some point leaked out of Karn when he was back on Mirrodin and began to corrupt the Mirrans and create the new Phyrexians. And Karn himself was corrupted for a little while, and he eventually managed to break free with the help of some other characters like Venser. Malira was another character that helped Karn escape out from the New Phyrexians' control. So the first Planechase card that we're going to be looking at from New Phyrexia is the Furnace Layer. The way the Furnace Layer works is when you planeswalk to it, or at the beginning of each player's upkeep, a random player is selected, and they have to discard a card from their hand. And if they discard a land, they lose 3 life. In addition to that, if you roll the Chaos symbol, you may destroy target non-land permanent. The flavor of this card is that the furnace is just burning everything in sight so that the new Phyrexians can fuel their furnaces to be creating whatever they want, most likely new Phyrexians and armies and weapons, whatever they need to build. The furnace layer is most likely where the Praetor Urabast the Hidden is located. He's not really mentioned on this card, but I would bet that this is the region of New Phyrexia that he's in charge of. So the second Planechase card is Norn's Domain. Norn referring to Elish Norn, the White Praetor, who is kind of in charge of all the other ones. She is the one that gives all your creatures +2/+2, and all your opponent's creatures get -2/-2, which is a pretty crazy ability. Elish Norn is kind of in control of all the Praetors and is trying to create harmony and unison, kind of like the Borg, where the entity is more important than the individual. Now, the way that Elish Norn's domain works is it works very similar to the Oblivion Stone. When you planeswalk away from it, it destroys all non-land permanents that do not have a fate counter on it. Unfortunately, the only way to get a fate counter is by rolling the chaos symbol on the planar die. But of course, when you roll the planar die, there's a chance you could planeswalk away, and whatever you're trying to save will be destroyed. If you happen to have an Oblivion Stone in your deck, then that would be pretty useful, because you could put fate counters on all your permanents yourself. You might even get your Oblivion Stone out before you get to this plane in preparation and put fate fake counters on all of your permanents. Oblivion Stone has been a pretty big favorite in most multiplayer formats because of its ability to just wipe the board clean whenever you want. Uh, a lot of times, people don't even get around to putting fake counters on their own permanents. They just blow it right away to clear the board. But it is nice to just have it sitting there, telling your opponents that if you do something I don't like, I'm just going to destroy it. The only thing with the playing card as opposed to the artifact is that you never know when it's going to go off. With the Oblivion Stone, the person who has the Oblivion Stone at least knows, but with the plane, nobody knows. So that's the randomness that Planechase can add to a multiplayer game, which really makes it a lot more fun because you never know who's going to win. As far as playing cards go in New Phyrexia, we've only gotten 2 so far. Of course, New Phyrexia is the newest plane in the multiverse, so maybe that's why we haven't really seen any. I'm sure that we'll see 1 or 2 in the future if there's another Planechase set. I'd like to see possibly a playing card that deals with artifacts. We don't really have anything that deals with them directly. The furnace layer could possibly be making artifacts, but we don't actually get any benefit from that. There's also the Phyrexian mana, which would be kind of interesting to use on one of the plane. Possibly a plane card that makes all mana Phyrexian mana. Or the Proliferate ability is also pretty neat. We need to see something that you proliferate every turn, or when you roll the chaos symbol you proliferate. And of course poison or infect might be used at some point. So there's a lot of possibilities for the new Phyrexian plane as far as the Planechase cards go. So hopefully we'll see some more of those in the future. Out of all the new planes, it's really the least represented.